And we're live. Hello everyone who's watching, either live or archived. I hope you're all well, having a nice day. Clear sky for me. Let's see. Oh, hello there. How do you say that? I want to say that your username is scumshop, but or maybe scoomshop. I'm going to go for scoomshop because it's with a K, not with a C. And also because scumshop sounds a bit strange. So I'll just switch to Trainz, and this is what we were working on last time. The valley comes from down there, and it crosses over this gorge here with a branch line going in that way. And we were working on the beginnings of a town over here. Yes, since this is set in the kind of 50s, 60s, all the infrastructure for steam locomotives is still in place. So we've got a water tower, turntable, coaling tower, that sort of thing. We've already put in place a passenger station and a banker track, or helper, as they're called in the US. And yes, last time we were just about to begin to put in this goods depot or transfer building. So let's continue with that. Oh, also, I did manage to fix the bridge somewhat. I lessened the angle, so the actual tracks now go over the bridge and it's not jutting out either side. It's not jutting out either side, but the guardrails here are still crossing over and through. So it still looks a bit strange, but at least it's looking a lot better than before. Maybe this is okay. Anyway, we can replace it whenever we want. Yes. So I'll just get... yes, we need to find a place for the goods station, for the goods platform to go. So if because the main line's coming from down there, coming up the track here, going off this way along the valley. So trains carrying boxcars will filled boxcars, because this is an unloading facility. We won't be loading goods here. Trains will be coming this way with boxcars behind them. So if we want the train to drop off boxcars here, then it would need to come forward like this and then reverse to leave the boxcars by the platform, and then uncouple them and then continue on its way. So the angle of the junction needs to come this way, so towards us. Which means that since this is in the 50s, 60s, cabooses are still a thing. Is it cabooses or caboosai? I think cabooses. Yes, so cabooses are still a thing, which means that the train will need to come over here, decouple its caboose, go forward, then back down onto some siding where the freight depot is, uncouple the boxcars, or whatever freight it has, then go forward, reverse back onto the caboose, and then carry on to the next town. So let's see. Also, we had planned to have the town in this area here, and then to have this area of the siding forested. So if we want the town, the town's edge to kind of be around here, then let's see. If the train comes over here, and I don't want to put it too far over this way, because then a train would maybe have to go back onto the main line to be able to reverse into the goods siding, and I don't really want that. So let's see. Well, maybe... I'm just thinking. What if we had... Because we need to put in a multiple industries building for this industry. So what if we put the multiple industry thing over here? Because this track is just to unload coal here to refuel this coaling tower. So I think it would be reasonable to think that freight trains would back down along here to uncouple boxcars, because this is used very infrequently. Or maybe we can put in a siding. I think a siding is better, probably. So to do this, I'm going to straighten this little piece of track here. And then I'm going to add on the session layer. And I do lock the session layer so I don't accidentally place things on that. Also, we have another viewer without an account. So hello, another viewer without an account. And I don't mean that as in the username, I mean that you actually don't have an account. So hello there, whoever you might be. And then I'm going to put in the siding along here. Now, the only thing I'm a bit worried about is this angle of the curve a bit too sharp? I'm going to put on the PRR steam locomotive from before, just to see if the wheels look like they're still on the tracks. Oh, we need to change the height a bit. But yes, the flanges are okay. And if you didn't know, flanges are the side bits on the wheel that go down, because you've got the wheelbase here, and you've got the angle where it comes down a bit, so over here, that's the flange, which basically keeps the train on the tracks. Okay, so I'm going to need to use I'm going to need to use the height of this here, because as you can see it goes up a bit. I'm going to need to use that height so that this junction's okay, basically. Although, saying that, I think I'm going to, let's see, because okay, so yes, I will use it, and then I'll put this height up here, but I'll leave this one down over here, because otherwise it would raise this platform up a bit more, and then we just shift the entire problem up. But what I can do is I can put in another spline point here to raise this bit up as well. And then maybe if I go in with a brush, I can just raise this up a little bit, because I am using the 5 meter grid size for this. I'll just save. And now let's place down the multiple industry. And I am going to put in the no payware filter, because if you didn't know, this route is going to be going to be uploaded as payware once it's finished, if it's good enough, which I think it'll be, from judging from how it is so far. So I don't want to use any payware assets, only things that are built in or available on the download station. So let's see, multiple industries. I'm going to use the multiple industries new. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that because these have a very large hitbox. Because as you see, if I click and drag here to move it around, it's fine. But if I click and drag over here to move it around, it grabs it as well. Which is why I sometimes put these on a different layer, so that I can't accidentally grab them. Okay, I think that's probably good. Yeah, that looks good to me. Maybe a bit closer. Yes, and then I'll attach this track. Oh, and it does, yeah, of course it's going down to meet this height. And I will add just a little bit more back there. And I'm going to put the bumpers and signals in when I actually replace this track with the track that we're actually using, because this is just the placeholder track. Okay, so now let's just, well actually, should we set this up now, this multiple industry, or do it later? Because I'm not sure, probably we're just going to end up using the general goods, so the crates, the product, the cargo type general goods. But we might use something else, in which case I don't want to set this up yet. And besides, we don't have a name for this town. Okay. So, I think that that is the track layout probably done for this part, for this place. I mean, if anyone has anything, if anyone's watching and you've noticed something that we're missing, then please, by all means, type it in chat if you can. Okay. So that's good. Now, while off stream, I did realize something which I had forgotten, which is that over here we have this dirt road which is accompanying the track over to the Horror Point sidings, and this needs to go to the town as well. Now the question is, do we put it in over here besides this bridge, put in another bridge, or do we make it cross over the tracks somewhere along here and then stay and then go down into the valley a bit and then go back up this way? Because I think this would look better than having another bridge, but it's a bit unrealistic, because if the road is down here to begin with, then it would surely just be laid down here and then just go down in the valley and then just come up the little bit over here to get to Horror Point sidings, rather than the road having to cross over the tracks here and accompanying it all the way up here, because basically it's just going up a hill, then down a hill, then back up a hill. So I think what we probably need to do is put in another bridge here. So I'm just going to quickly search for bridge, going over to the splines. Well, I mean, it is a road bridge, but not quite what I'm going for. Well, let's see. Thing is, I think that I don't have a bridge with long enough pillars installed, a road bridge. Actually, what about this one? Well, no, the pillars aren't long enough, because this is a very deep canyon. Well, quite deep canyon. Let's see. What about this? I mean, no. I'm just quickly scanning through this. Now we've got all the girder kit things, like walls and things. Oh, this one maybe. It's a pier. I didn't read the name. I'm just looking at the picture down there. Nope. Plate girder. Maybe this one. Oh, it's a track. Huh. Why is that under splines? Can I attach a track to this? I mean, I wouldn't complain if I could, but oh, I can. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen that before. A bridge that's a spline to which you can attach a track. Well. Okay. Now. Let's see. This? No. Also, it's too modern, doesn't look good. What about this? No, those are supports. This is also a bridge support spline. I think we might have to actually... Although... Although I suppose if we don't find a road bridge that fits, I could always just put in the railway bridge again on the side and just put the dirt track spline over it to kind of create the illusion of a road bridge when there actually isn't one. Yeah, we've gone into footbridges now and things like that. Although this one, I mean, nah, it's too. Although for this, maybe for the 60s, I mean, it's not too modern, I think, but it's a road, like a real road. Although, thinking about it, I don't think that like a road this big would be built just for a dirt track. So, okay, I'll put this bridge over to the side, and I'll add another one of these bridges over here, just to see what it would look like. If it doesn't look good, we can always get rid of it. So let's see, I need to get the height here, just setting it to the right height. Let's see. So just making them run adjacent. Here it's a bit difficult because the spline point is down, way down there. But I think something like that. Because this way, it's not another bridge that's been built, it's just a bit of a wider bridge that's been built. So, now I'm going to get the dirt track. Oh, it's not a track, it's a spline. I wonder if I can attach a track to this. I mean, unless they've changed something in Trainz 19 that I'm unaware of. Okay, let's see. So, if I now... Well, I think it was 161 the height, I think. So, I'll just put this up, and over here, overlay it. I need to put it up a bit more, you can see the rails through. Maybe 0.2. That's too tall. Maybe 0.1 instead. That's not tall enough. Maybe 0.15. 0.15 looks good. So now let's see. If I put this over the top there, and then over top here, what does this look like? Well, I need to put a straightened piece on here for the curve to look right. I mean, no, it doesn't look good. It's too much dirt here. It wouldn't be there. So, maybe I can put pavement down, just tarmac. Although, that wouldn't make much sense, would it? Well, let's see. I'll just search for, on the download station quickly. I'll search for arch. And then I'll go to category and search for spline. Let's see. I mean, these look okay. Maybe, maybe one of these. I'll just, let's see, how large are they? Oh, they're very small. I'll just download these. Okay, they're called ELEV. So let's see here. Actually, I can just go to filter today and it will show up here. No, this one's too small. And it's more that the... Oh, it's just width. It's more that the supports aren't long enough. Okay. Not seeing much here so far. Okay, so let's see, how about suspension? I mean, maybe. Oh, it's a bit of a large asset, 5 megabytes. And by the way, I do have a first class ticket enabled at the moment, just to speed up the downloads for this specific purpose. Let's see. No, this is... I mean, it's a bit of an elaborate bridge. No, it overshadows the railway bridge. Well, what if... what if I just search for pavement? Okay. Just see if there is a pavement we can maybe put over this railway bridge. Oh no, it's finding sidewalks because pavement's another name for sidewalk. No pavement. Maybe this one. Okay, I mean it could work. So I'll just put this over here. Increase the height again. And I mean at the moment we can still see railway tracks through it, but if I put this over here, I mean, that doesn't look that bad. I do need to increase the height a bit because we can still see the railway tracks through it. Still a bit more. Still a bit more yet. No, still a bit more. That might have been a bit too much because I want the railway tracks to just disappear without there being a big gap between the road and the bridge. Okay. Now you can see there is a gap here. Well, I'll just quickly look, see if there's another pavement. I mean, if you have a better idea than this, feel free to post it in chat. So let's see. I mean, no, it's not right. No. Okay, so it's either this, so that we have this wider bridge and we have the road going across it like that, or we use this bridge with and have it a bit further down, in which case we would need to attach. Although actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what if we have the bridge cross underneath this one? So if we just lower this a bit, just enough to make the bridge supports connect with the valley floor, and maybe move this over a bit, like this, maybe a bit more. So something like that. Oh, this could look very good. Actually, I'll just quickly save. And this bridge, I mean, this sort of thing does look like a more modern construction. Like originally the railway went through here for decades, and then only recently, I mean, this maybe the 50s or 60s, so motorways or highways are becoming more and more common. So at some point it was decided that oh hello, electrical longboard, welcome back to the stream. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way is of having this dirt track that's supposed to accompany the tracks all the way to the town, going over this gulch or this ravine. And I think I've come up with a solution. Originally I thought maybe have this so that the bridge is a bit wider and goes alongside it, but that doesn't look very good. So yes, I'm doing that down there. So yes, someone, because this is the 60s or maybe 50s, someone decided that a highway needs to come through this mountain range, and this is the path they chose. So they needed a bridge over here, and since roads can go up and down hill a lot more easily than railways, at least non-cog or gear railways, this is what they chose. And actually, that means that, well, for one, it's a much more interesting landmark, if not quite as pretty, but it is quite realistic. Actually, let's see, can we have this a bit higher? No. If anything, we need to bring this up a bit like that. Like that, yes. Sort of like this. And that means that we can use the roads. So I have a Yarnish road. Let's see, where is it? Oh, do I have a filter on? Yes, I do. These ones. 1 second. I'm trying to find, see if there's one with continuous stripes, so non-overtake one. No, this one's overtaking. I'll just quickly, 1 second, I'll just quickly look, see if there's one. What's this called? Yarnish L2, I think? DL1? Let's see. Because I do have one installed, this one, but this one is the more darker tarmac texture. And I think the lighter tarmac would look better here. So, let's see. Maybe L2? No, L is probably lane. So lane 1, and then D, I have no idea what that stands for. Wait, didn't I just... Oh, it's DL1, and 2, and 3. No, not 3 apparently. Maybe it's just DL, maybe so we could see all of them. Okay, I'm not seeing it here. So, what I'll do instead, 1 second. Once again, my throat. It's fine, don't worry. Okay, sorry, I lost the selection. Right, I do have this one, which I think that this one's color matches this one quite well, but the cars on this are going quite slowly. Sorry. Okay, much better. I'm just gonna frog my throat. Not literally, just figuratively. But I think that might be the best one we have at the moment. Yeah, these ones without lanes have L0, so yeah, it is lanes. Although, we do have these Yarnish macadam roads, but no, there isn't one with lanes here. So, okay, I'm going to choose, well, but the cars are going so slowly across this one. Oh, there's Yarnish 2 as well. Tell you what, I'll just quickly have a look, see if Yarnish 2 has anything to offer. And I do realize that this is taking quite a bit of time, but I do want to find the best road for this. So Yarnish, Yarnish 2. Let's do category spline. Let's see. No. Is the Yarnish 3 perhaps? Nope. Maybe Yarnish 1. No. So, using this one, the car's driving a bit quicker, so I'll use this one instead. So, I didn't really want a road to carry on along this way, but I think that's the only way that the road could progress from here. So what I'll do is, well, let's make the road carry along here for a little while. And then maybe we can have it cross over with a bridge again, and then carry on a separate valley, so we don't have to accompany it all the way. Let's see. What about this? Well, we obviously need to pull this down a bit more over here. Something like this, I think. Maybe. Perhaps smooth. Well, maybe not that much. Because I'll undo this and do it again with a smaller brush. Just like that. We need to get rid of this little thing there that's poking through. Okay, I mean we'll work on this later when we're doing the actual scenery work. But the point is that we've got a thing for our dirt road to attach to. Now, we do need to put in quite a tall mountain here, so that it makes sense that the railway wouldn't just have a Y coming across here with a junction, because they'd otherwise need to put in a tunnel, which means that if we're going back to our dirt track, going on over here, well, let's see, we'll attach it over here, because the road is straight here, so we don't need to worry about clipping issues. Then, let's see. Not like that. What if we just put this along the top of this, and then if we have the mountain, or the slope, coming up to sort of this area, we could have this just gently curving along the slope, I mean, along the corner, the edge of it. Yes, and then it just connects back up to the other thing. I think that is... Oh, hello, Lurksex. Welcome back to the stream. Yes, we're just working on this area here, where it comes up to the town. Because originally I hadn't planned on having a road bridge here, but I realized that we need... well, I need to connect the dirt track that's here to the town. And since it's accompanying the track, it wouldn't have made sense to make it go all the way down the valley to be able to cross here and then go all the way back up. It would just stay in the valley all the way to Horror Point sidings. So what I decided to do is put in this highway here, which is probably a more recent construction judging by the bridge work, and then have the dirt road just connect up here. Plus it makes the scene look a bit more interesting. I mean, it's not often that you get two bridges, one crossing over the other. And also the town here does need to be connected by road. Originally I wanted the road connection to just go off over there, but with this road here, that means that we can have a much taller slope back there, which is a positive thing. So let's see, what's the next step? Well, if this is the slope that we're going with, then I think I need to put the road in going all the way up to the up to the town. So let's see. We have it going like this. Is this too? Yeah, that's... I mean, is that okay? We'd need to bring the terrain over a bit more, but there is this little lip here, so I think that's okay. And then we can put in a crossing. I think the best place for crossing would probably be here somewhere. There is this junction here, but if we put in the crossing just around here, I think that should be fine if we move the lever a bit further back. So, yeah, and I am going to use custom crossings for this. I'm going to use the, I think it's TRC. Yes, the TRC crossing system. I'm just going to place this little marker down here to remind me. Yes. Okay, so then you just connect these two up. And I will just straighten this for now, because we'll put in the crossing a bit later. And then this just can continue off to wherever it's going into town. We'll handle, well, yes, we'll handle that a bit later, when we've actually got the terrain down. Oh, and I've just seen that this, it's already looking quite dark. Actually, I'm going to turn my screen black for a second, just to see how dark my face actually looks. One second, I'm just waiting for the stream to catch up. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. I mean, you can still see on my t-shirt the sun, well, not sun, it's more ambient light coming in from the sky, but you can still see it. Anyway, I'll just turn the screen back on. Oh, and I realized it doesn't record it when I make the screen black. Anyway, right light. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Lights on. And let's see. Right, is there anything that we need to do before we put in the topography? Trying to think, and I don't think so. The road's connected, the rails are connected, we've got all the sidings we need in. So yeah, I think that's good. So let's work on the topography next. So and by the way, we did want to have a little lake down here, because the river, there's supposed to be a river coming through here. And we don't have a river going that way, so we're putting it in the lake. And as I said before, one of my viewers did actually suggest to put in a lake in one of the earlier streams. He suggested to put it in all the way back there, but because I got the feedback after the stream, I had already finished that area. But hey, now we're getting to a lake, and that viewer may or may not be watching. Okay. And by may or may not be watching, I mean is probably watching, but I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain, but I'm not 100% certain. Anyway, so I'm just kind of smoothing this lip out a bit with the plateau tool. Again over here. And we do need to smooth this slope quite a bit more if we want to get down to the lake. Also, we might need to, it might be good to put in a little road going down there. If we have maybe a little quayside down here, might be nice. So, yes, I'll just, let's see. Okay, I'll just do the basic shape of this slope here now, and I am going to do the full slope going up to this point, because otherwise we could see the edge of the baseboard over there. But I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm going to firstly just do it up to here, because we're just at this point I'm just trying to get the height of the slopes down and where the lake is actually going to go, and that kind of thing. And I don't need all of that extra work of making that slope for that. So let's see. Okay. And actually, no, that's okay, never mind. I was going to say maybe put in the lake now, but I'll do the slope first. So I'm going to do this the same way we did before, where I just take a point on the slope we've already got and just kind of drag it back. Okay. And the same thing here. And this will obviously still need to be smoothed a lot. Yeah. But this method of making the slope is a lot quicker sorry, than doing it the other way. Because I can do it here this way quite easily, because we don't already have a spline or track down where the terrain needs to come up to that level. Because I find that with that it's usually easier if you're modeling the terrain using either the height up or down tools or the plateau tool. Okay, we'll be done quite soon. Let's see. How does that look? Yeah, looks okay. It doesn't look finished, but it looks okay. Also, once we have a bit more of the town finished, of the area, and when it's time to name it, then I would be interested to see if anybody who's watching has any good names for this area. But maybe wait for that when the area is a bit more finished and we can more clearly see what character this area is going to have. See, I'll just quickly save, and I'll just quickly smooth this out a bit, just so that when we put in the lake, it's easier to picture the countryside. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this at the moment. It's just the minimum amount of smoothing needed to picture it properly. Properly? Yes, properly. I thought I might have accidentally said probably, which I didn't. Okay. Okay, sure, that's well, this one area over here. But beside that, I think it's good enough for now to put the lake in. So I'm just going to add water down here, which at the moment is still below the ground. But if I pull it up, 1 second, there we go. Okay, and now how high up should we make this lake? Because this lake shouldn't be high enough so that it would overflow into the valley down there, creating a river. So we would need to put the valley, get the valley higher up at this point, so that basically it wouldn't do that. Which means that if we bring this sort of around here, just to make it clear that this isn't overflowing into that other area. So something like that, which means that the valley needs to come from all the way down there up to here, across this range, which means that we might need to bring the slope in a bit more. Let's see. Sorry. So also we do, since this used to be a river basin going down along the valley before the dam was put in further up this way, which we haven't made yet, obviously. So there needs to be kind of a dip where the riverbed was, or is, I guess. It's just not a river anymore. Oops, that's not the tool I wanted. Okay. So let's see. Okay, I can put this in a bit further like this to kind of meet the river that's coming from down here. Maybe a bit more, cut a bit more away here, and just kind of make this a bit more of an actual river basin. Kind of coming along here. Because now with the bridge we're using, we don't need to have it that flat. Okay, so I think that's good enough for now. Well, actually, I will smooth this little corner out a bit. Yes. But I think that's good enough for now. So, next thing to do is, now we've got this slope, well, at least up to here, because this is what I was talking about before. Up here, you can clearly see the edge of the other baseboard, so I will need to go in and increase the height a bit, but I'll probably do that off stream, just because it's not that interesting to do. The same as a bit further down. Yeah, so, yes, the next thing, I think it's just putting in the slope on this bit here. So I'll, actually, I was going to do it the way I usually do it, but I think I'll try to do it the same way I did it on the other side. Maybe it will work here, because this is, I've got quite a lot of space to get down there. So I think, yeah, I'll do it this way. So, first of all, again, going to set the height up here using the set height tool. Very creative name for it, I know. And I'm just kind of going to take it over here, because I do want this bit to have quite a steep slope, so we might actually have this, sorry, have this come up a bit more, a bit closer, I mean, and then have it come up a bit more. So I'll just put this a bit closer, and then have it sort of tapering off to the side to meet that back there, sort of just like this. And then I'll start pulling the terrain back here. Maybe I grabbed it a bit low. Okay, so this comes up to around there. Actually, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to flatten out the terrain to sort of around here, and that because the tracks are going down, but we need to have the terrain filled up to this level, at least because we need the mountain to come up here. So if we just pulled it further and further along here, then the terrain would be below the level where it needs to be. So I'm just going to do this now here, and then we can work on getting the slope over there. So here I'm actually going to grab it from the track height, well, roughly from the track height, and then I'm going to pull it along here, and that we will need to raise the terrain over here because the tracks are going up quite steep here. So let's see. This is going to look so good when it's finished. And this is kind of the main reason behind why I like to make fictional railways or fictional routes rather than real ones, because with real routes you are very limited to what you can do with it. So for example, the thing with the road that needs to connect over, the reason why we have the road bridge there in the first place, that completely changed the shape of the landscape and the route and how it continues. With the road bridge and the road now accompanying the branch line, which if I was modeling a real route, I wouldn't have that. So yeah, I just like that you have more freedom with your creativity. Let's see. That looks good enough for now. So now just fill in this bit, and then we can see how steep the slope needs to be, because at the moment the slope is already leveling out where the tracks are, but it still has a lot of space to go down. So I don't want it to feel like there is a plateau here for the tracks to go along, because so far the slope's been quite steep, going all the way past the tracks and into the valley. Okay, just need to smooth this out a bit so the seam between the baseboards isn't as obvious. Okay. I'll just save. 1 second. So, oh, this is, yeah, the tracks are floating again because I pulled the terrain away to make the slope. I'll just quickly make sure that it's not floating by much, like it is over here. And at some point, I do also want to put some tunnels in this route. But maybe we'll do that when the valley narrows down a bit and becomes more canyon-y, if that's a word. Okay, so now. Okay, well, this looks, I mean, it looks okay. but we do need to bring the terrain closer here. Actually, I will fix the height of the spline of the road first, so that it doesn't get pulled up with the terrain. This one as well. So, let's see. How tall should this be going up here? Actually, I will put in the road going alongside the tracks here, just so that I can more clearly see how much space there is to work with for the mountains. Yeah, and I will. I was going to say I'll move it up, but the thing is, the track is sloping upwards at a 1% grade. So this is 163 the height. So just 163, and I will just kind of set this up to that height, even though I know that at the moment it's not that high up over there. Just something roughly following the path of the tracks, just so that I can see if I'm getting the terrain too high or too low. And maybe we can have this terrain a bit more rocky as well. So we could have some more rocky bits on the alongside, like cliff-like bits. If this is kind of a canyon that it's going into. Okay, something like that. Have this coming across here, and we would need to bring this terrain over here as well. Maybe not that much. I don't really like that shadow being as strong over there with this at this time of day. So, okay. Now I'll just bring this a bit further back here, so that we don't have this plateau over there. And I'll probably need to make the mountain go over here a bit higher as well, because the branch line is going this way. So we'll need to add baseboards here, and if I don't make the mountain here as well, then from here you'd probably be able to see the baseboards over there. But that's a later thing to deal with. Or rather, a thing to deal with later. That's the proper syntax for that sentence, I think. Let's see. Just making this come along here. I'll save. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to bring this a bit more over here. Kind of like that. Okay, so, or maybe a bit closer to the tracks over here. 1 second. How does that look? So just, if we imagine the slope going up here as well, or rather up there, because the camera is mirrored, and we see the lake down there reflecting the mountain, and the forest. Then we look over here, and see this branch going over there, and we can see this carrying on over here. Also, by the way, this thing, this window that's just floating over here, is actually part of of the goods depot. So if I move this back there, you can see that that's moving as well, which I realized off stream. So either, yeah, we can't really turn this. So what we'll probably need to do is make the terrain go a bit further over here, a bit closer, which might not be a bad thing in and of itself as well. So if we make this kind of like this, then we might be able to put in a boulder or something there, just to kind of hide it. We could actually call it something like window boulder or something like that, just as a little Easter egg. So let's see. Boulder. I want a really big one, 10 meters. I mean, that's a good base. So maybe if we put down a couple of these, let's see, 9 meters. Okay, sure. Now if we stack these on top of each other, we can build kind of a little crag out. Let's see, do we want this tall? No, not yet. Just about like that. From this side. Let's see, I'll turn this one up. Well, I think it was looking okay. So turn a little, come in there. This one kind of come up here, then go to the next side. No, this one's a bit too square. And I mean that in the literal sense. Let's see. Maybe like that. And then we just need one more to actually cover the window. Hopefully I'll find one. If not, then I'll, well, first of all, I'll save. And maybe this square one wouldn't look that bad. So if I'll raise this up a little and just kind of put this in here and just raise it up a bit more. Well, yeah, we do need to build this up a bit more back here now. Let's see. Maybe not using this large one. Maybe the more rounder one we were using back there. So if I put this in here, raise it up a bit. Put it over there. Just kind of make the two intersect. Maybe, what? We can put a tree in there, might look good. Yeah, like that. I think it looks, well, I mean, it's definitely a landmark, although, well, I mean, just the way that it's kind of slumped over the edge. I don't know what it looks like to you, but to me, seeing it now like this, it kind of also looks like fossilized droppings of a giant, maybe? Not what I was going for. Maybe it looked different when we have trees around it. So I'll actually name one of the... Actually, no, we can put down a sign. Let's see, I think it's in my pick list somewhere. This one. I like to use this sign to name objects like bridges or tunnels or landmarks, basically. So, if I kind of rotate this kind of this way, we give it a name, like window, let's see, window rock maybe, window rock. I do need to put it up a bit higher, so that it's not inside the rocks. And let's see. Oh, not that one. Trying to grab the sign. Yep. Maybe a bit closer. Nope. Tell you what, I'll move this down 2 meters. Then I'll move this up by 2 meters. And then I'll move this back up 2 meters again. That's a bit too tall. Wants to be a bit lower. Kind of like this, maybe. Yeah, that's interesting. You see, if you're driving this route, you're coming over this way, you can see that there's a little sign up there, and if you go to investigate, you can see oh, well, it's a bit difficult because to put a position of the camera, but you can see it says window rock. And if you go to the map, you can actually see that the named object shows up here as well, window rock. Okay, so what were we doing before? All right, landscaping. Let's see, 1 second. Okay. Right. Let's make sure I'm still no paper. Okay. And now it's time to landscape this area. So, since I do want there to be a town here, this area, maybe up to here, needs to be relatively flat. I mean, like maybe this sloped. It can't be that sloped and have buildings on it here, because in Trainz you'd get all sorts of clipping issues. But I think that that's a good place to start raising the terrain from. We can make the slope go all the way down here, but at the moment I'm going to make the slope start over here. And I am actually going to bring it closer to the tracks here, because that would that would kind of give us a reason for why the town shouldn't why the town wouldn't grow all the way down here, while there would still be forest. Okay, so yes, I'm just going to start raising the terrain up here. Oh, I've just seen we've gained another viewer. As far as I know, you don't have an account, so I don't see your name. So just hello, another live viewer. Welcome. Just terraforming this area, where we'll have a little town over here. You can see this place. This is going to look so great when we've got all the nice scenery in place, and the river running down here, and the rocks and the cliffs and trees and everything. Which I realize I've basically just summed up what scenery means, even though I said scenery. But I think that point needed more emphasizing, so yes. Okay, so just kind of make this come along here. And we can see, I can see as I'm doing this, how steep the slope is getting. And this is kind of the steepness we would have to have kept this at if the road had gone over there, like I had originally planned, instead of down through here. But now we can make it go a lot steeper. Okay. Also save. And this area also needs to have a slope coming up this way, which should be quite steep on this side, giving a reason why the railway tracks would cross over here. Because if this side, if this side was as what's the word I'm looking, as flat as over here, then they would have just run the tracks over here on this side, and they wouldn't have paid for building this bridge over here. So we do need to make this side a lot less accessible. Sorry. Okay, just kind of raising this up here as well, which is where the town will go. Quickly save. I'm really looking forward to making the sessions for this route, which some of them I live stream, probably not all of them, because it does, well, for one, it does get quite a bit repetitive, making the sessions. It's basically the same process over and over again for most cases. I mean, if there are some special sessions where you use lots of complicated things like layers that get turned on and off or things like that, but mostly it's just the same thing. You put down AI trains, give them orders, you put down the navigation markers for the player, and just make this session, test it again, fix things, that sort of thing. And I mean, it is a lot of fun to do, but if you're making a lot of sessions, which I intend to do for this route, it does get a bit boring. That's the first reason. I'm not going to live stream all of them probably. The second is that, well, this route is going to be made available as payware, if it's good enough. If not, then it will be uploaded for free, but probably payware. Either way, I do want the people who watch these live streams, sorry, either live or archived, to still have a few surprises when they're playing the sessions. And if I live streamed all of them, well then there wouldn't be any surprises left. Okay, how is this slope coming along? 1 second. I think it's already looking quite good. It does need a bit more smoothing in places, but I think it already looks okay. So now I just need to do this back here. Okay, now let's see. 1 second, I just need to fill this in back here. Now let's see how steep this is. Ignore all these bumps over here, those will be smoothed out. Well, I mean, the steepness is okay, but this kind of plateau doesn't really look that natural. Because we've got the lake down here, then the slope goes up here very steeply, then it flattens out, and then it goes up again. It doesn't feel that natural. Unless there was a huge landslide or something like that. So what I'll do is I'll use the plateau tool to kind of make this slope come up here. And I will smooth these bits out up here as well, so it's easier to recognize the shape. Sorry, still frog in my throat. Let's see. Maybe not that bulge there. How about that? Yeah, that already looks a lot better. I think we can. Well, let's see. Are these all? No. I need to make these all fixed height spline points when I'm editing the terrain around here, so that they don't follow the terrain up and down. Okay. So, I think, yeah, I need to bring the slope closer to the tracks, and we can fill in terrain a bit later as well, underneath the tracks, and then do a bit more sloping. But for now, I just want to make this come in a bit closer, just so that this plateau that most of the town will be on doesn't seem that big. Let's see. Now, we actually need to flatten this out a bit, make this come a bit closer. Just sort of like that, basically. Make this come over here as well. Oh, hello, another TV viewer. Welcome back. I don't know how long since you've joined the stream, but welcome anyways, and hello. So, yes, just terraforming this area around where the town will go. We've put in this bridge here, with a road bridge as well, because, well, the reason why is basically we needed a way for the dirt track that accompanies the tracks to connect to the town. So yeah, that's basically the reasoning why we needed to put that in. But it has had the positive effect of one, that this looks, even though the road bridge itself isn't very pretty, it does look really good, also realistic as well, with this bridge just crossing underneath the one on top. Yes, it means that we don't need to make this road go up this hill, so we can make the slope, so we can make it a lot steeper, which is a positive thing. So, what was I doing? Yes, right. I was bringing the terrain up to the tracks, so we can kind of see if we've brought the slope a bit too close. Also, I guess I can put the terrain up over here as well. But I do need to make these non-fixed height. Maybe also change the curve a bit like that. Okay, so just something like this. That looks good. Well, I'll just quickly do it over here as well, just so we can see better how this goes. Okay, I will move these trees later. So, yeah, we do need to fix this area as well a little bit, I think. Just because I don't really want a cutting here, because I want the player to be able to turn the camera like this and look down the valley there, looking at the town. But at the moment, the camera would just hit the ground and then get turned to face downwards as the ground's pushing it up, and then the player won't be able to see that. So I'll do that later. For the moment, there is still this area that we need to get right. So this is a bit filled. Actually, maybe it wouldn't look that bad with this area being a bit filled up. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like this for the moment. Actually, yes. So, right, now, what about this slope? That looks okay, but we do need to smooth this out a bit. I mean, it's okay if we don't smooth it as much on this side, because this is going to get very narrow up there. This kind of gulch or canyon, I suppose. So it's okay that we have a few steeper areas along the slope where we can paint the rock texture, make it look a bit more cliff-like. Let's see. I'm just smoothing out these bumps here so that when we eventually get to texturing and that kind of thing, it will have already been done, I guess. Didn't really know where I was going with that sentence. Okay, now let's just look at it from this angle, and we can see we do need a bit more smoothing around here. Also we need to bring it a bit closer to there so that the slope doesn't go up over there and back down, so we can see it doesn't go up here and then down and back up again. Okay, just one more click here. So I think that this mainly looks okay. Well, a bit more over here. Just like that. Maybe up there. But now it looks okay. So, what about the slope going down to the lake? Well, I think that looks good as well. I think it looks okay. So now I'll just quickly do a little bit more smoothing over on this side, and then let's see. And then I'll plan out some of the roads for the town, because I do want to get those in before I start texturing, because before I texture I want to put in the forest, and I don't want to put in the forest where then it turns out that I want to put the town, or roads or buildings for the town. So I need to put in the roads for the town first, roughly the way that I want them to be, and then we'll get to some of the texturing and putting down the forest and that, all that good stuff. Second. Okay. All the way down here. And how does this valley look? Well, I think... Well, when it's textured, I think it'll look fine. I'll quickly save. Okay, am I happy with how this looks? Just about. I mean, I am happy with the shape of it, but there are things like this little mold in here, which wouldn't really make sense if this is supposed to be carved by a river. So those are still the kind of things that I need to smooth out still. Also, we need to work on this slope a bit as well. So, yeah, I am just going to make this a bit more smoother over here, just because I already said why. Just so that the player has a lot more space for the camera to look around, a lot more freedom to do so. Okay, and I will actually bring this in a bit closer, so that the basin of where the river used to flow is a bit more narrower. Actually no, a bit narrow is a bit narrower. A bit more narrower doesn't really work like that, I think. Okay. Just kind of making this a bit more smooth over here. I will actually save here. And I need to bring the terrain down here as well, a little bit further towards the center of the valley. Maybe on this side as well, just a little bit closer, just so that the river, where the river used to flow, the riverbed, is just a bit more pronounced. Because on the other side, the slope is going quite far in towards the center, and on this side it's staying a bit further away. So I'd like to get this in a bit closer as well. And I'll save again. Now, let's see. I mean, it'll look better when the mountain actually continues up a bit further over on that side, and over on this side as well. But for now, I'm almost happy with this. I just realized that this is a bit too far up. It goes back down the other side, so just about like that. And here's one. Now, I'm happy with this. Well, actually, maybe that was okay. I think that was okay. So, now, I'm happy for this for now. Yeah, I just need to align the terrain to the tracks again. Going over here. Coming up to the bridge, going over the bridge. And that looks okay, broadly speaking. Now I'll just align the terrain here. Let's see. I think that's good. It could have been built up here a little bit. Sorry, there's something in my eye, I think. That's good. Yeah, so yes, the road does need to be brought up a little bit more. Let's see what it looks like if I apply the height to the road here. Maybe this spot a little bit lower. Usually I'd put in the tracks first and the terrain around the tracks, and then I'd put in the road, so I wouldn't have to align the road as much. But because of the way we did the mountain here, this way seems better. Now I'll align the tracks again, although no, I won't actually, no, because if I align them again, then this drop-off will become a lot wider, you see, and I like it being a bit closer. So I'll just quickly, well, it's a bit in the air here, but the other track has a bit more ballast going down, so I think it's fine for now. We'll see what it looks like a bit later. I just love how complicated this area looks. So, right. That's finished, that's done, that's done, that's done. Okay, so actually I look at it from the map first. I like to have a look at things from the map in between. So if I turn off industry names at the moment, and named objects as well, then it's a bit easier to see what this looks like. So we start from down there, the line snakes along this valley, and eventually comes up to the lake. And because we did the terrain first, and then put in the water automatically follows the contours of the terrain, and the lakes look so much more natural than if we had put the water at a certain level first and then tried to put up the terrain so it looks natural. I mean, I guess you'd have to put in a lot more work. Technically, you could get it to look this natural, but yeah. Okay, and then if we zoom into this area here, let's see what the track plan looks like from this angle. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So, sorry, let's do some town planning, because that's what everybody's here for, isn't it? Doing some town planning. Oh, yes, welcome back. Okay. So, let's see. I do have some Yarnish junction objects, I think. Let's see, though, these are all... No, those are signals. I'm just trying to see if I've got it in the list somewhere. No, that's the bridge again. Those are the roads. No, so I'll just search for Yarnish and then go over to objects, and I'll try to quickly find an intersection. Traffic lights, actually, that's the thing I didn't think about. Do you think we should have traffic lights here? I think not. This is quite a small town. I think we don't really need traffic lights. One of these intersections didn't really work that well. I wonder if it was this one or the other one. Oh, that's curious. Why do they stop? They should just go straight over it, surely. Oh, it's got options. Oh, I didn't know they had options. Oh, I see. Oh, you can configure it like that. The arrows. Streetlights. Oh, well, sure. Yes, I know you want to go, but I haven't figured out why you're not going yet. Yes, I know you're blowing your horns, but that's not going to solve anything. Sorry. Oh, that's what YARN stands for. Yet another road network. I never knew that. Okay, well, let's see. Would it work better with a different intersection? Yes, you're blowing your horn, I know. Or tooting your own horn, as it were. Oh, no, yeah, that's the wrong type of intersection. This one, maybe. So if I attach the road to this instead, would they go over there? No, they're stopping. That is strange. Usually they only stop if there's a crossing, like a railway crossing, and that's also when they toot the horns. But this is not a railway crossing. Huh. I'll have to do some research. But if you're watching this live or archived, and you know what's going on here, feel free to either type it in chat or leave in the comments or something, because it might help people who have the same issue. Well, first of all, it would help me in this issue, but it might also help other people who have this issue, who might find the stream. I'll just quickly look. TRS 19 traffic stopping. Let's see. Okay, well, put in survey mode that prevents road from moving. Unpause the traffic, clicking on that, and hopefully it goes. Oh, I don't know. I'll do some research off stream and see if I can find out what's going on here. But for now, yes, for now these cars will just be stuck like this. Also, we might want to use the other road here. This one, because this isn't as dangerous a road, a place for the road. So let's see. I want this to come kind of close to here. Maybe not as close if we have houses between the tracks and the road. And then this is where kind of where the forest starts. So we would need to have this come around like that. Also, should this road end here? That's an interesting question. Or we could have the road kind of continue along here with the tracks. Or maybe we can do something somewhere else. Maybe we could have the road kind of serpentine up the mountainside. Maybe that is what we'll do. I don't know at the moment. So let's see. There's a traffic jam building. I wonder if that's only an issue with the Yarnish junction. If I get this invisible road that they're using here, and I detach the roads, one second, oh, I'll just move the thing out of the way, or maybe a bit further out of the way, then if I just attach these and go over like that, so like this, and we'd also need a little straight piece in here. Now, see, now they're turning properly. Sorry. Just a bit of a dry throat. I mean, I have been talking for an hour and a half. Okay. So now, well, actually, I'm going to make it fit with the bottom road first. Actually going to hold shift while I place this so that it doesn't try to snap to the junction. And yeah, then I'm just going to manually overlap this, which I shouldn't have to do. It should work. Maybe they've done some changes in TRS 19 that prevents it from working correctly, but for now this is this has fixed it. Okay, so if we've got maybe some shops down here, and we got some houses over here, houses coming up there. Let's see. I mean, maybe we could have a connecting road coming up this way, and I'll put in the junctions later, the road crossing things later. So yeah, so just coming like this, coming over here. Maybe keep a bit clear of the railway yard, so maybe just going around here a bit, and this is where it gets a bit steeper, but we do need we do need this to come kind of close to this area. Maybe we could have a little yard back here, some maybe a dirt area, or gravel or asphalt or something like that. So that comes down here, and then let's make this come around here as well. And we might need to smooth this terrain out a bit more. But then if this comes along here, roughly, oops, didn't mean to do that, then we could have this come up here and meet that there. And then maybe have another road coming down here. Now where does this go? Well, we could have this connect up here as well. Not like that, just like this. And then, let's see, oh, didn't mean to connect that. Did it again, I let go of shift too soon. Then if we did want this road to kind of go up the mountainside, what we need to do, well, is make it go up the mountainside. So we can make it serpentine up a bit. So maybe just coming up here, and then coming up there. And then maybe just carrying on up this way. Now how would that look if we're looking down at the valley? Because I Actually, it might look okay. It might look okay. And it would make sense to have the road continue up a bit. If there is this bridge built here for the road. Because if the road just ends in this small town, yes, they might have built a bridge here, but that's a bit odd. Huh. Okay, I'm going to pretend like that's not there, that gap. Although, well, let's see, maybe I can put in... No, it doesn't seem to change. Whoops. That's odd. Anyway. Oh. Oh no, now it's on this side. I think this is just a feature of this bridge. It doesn't seem to affect the traffic, so, well, let's see. Actually, I am going to see if I can get it back on the other side because it was a little less in the way there. So yeah, I'm just gonna basically ignore it for now. Maybe we can do something about it later, but for now, yeah, I'll just ignore it. So, yeah, the traffic's coming up there. Going up over there, crisscrossing through town, and then going up the mountainside. Does this look like enough space for a town? I wonder. I think it's I think it's sort of on the border. I think it looks okay. Well, I mean, we could maybe fill in, we could maybe have a road going over here as well, and then maybe having another road coming in like this. So something like that. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, it would look a lot better if there were houses back here as well. Just to just to make this place feel a bit more full, like it would warrant having well, I guess the railway would have to come through here anyways, and if this is the branch, it would make sense that there are sidings here. But I think it would look better like this. It would also make sense for more passengers trains to stop here. So what I'll do now is I'll try and see if I can get the grades of this road a bit more under control, so that I can actually place houses here, because houses don't do very well with slopes. Because the thing is, I will need to put in some more spline points here to kind of keep the curve. Because the thing is with houses, if you place it on a slope, then it will, on one side, most of the houses anyway, will be floating on the side that's where the slope goes down, and they'll be buried in the ground partially where the slope goes up. Some houses do have deeper foundations, so you can actually put the house up and then you can have the foundation going down to meet the ground. But most houses don't, which means that yes, you do need to be a bit more careful with what gradients you put in on the road and how much space there is for houses. For example, this here, even though it would look quite good to have this at this angle, the houses would just be floating partially, so you do need to make this angle a bit flatter, unfortunately. Okay, just sort of making it come over here, and it will also look a bit different when I do actually put in the crossings. But I'd like to do a bit more research on what's going on with the traffic first before I put those in. This is another very steep bit. The thing is, I don't want to make it too flat, because, I mean, it's supposed to be a town of on this sloping side, and if we take away too much of the slope, it's not going to look as good as it could. Just going to insert a few more spline points here. And yes, I do realize that this road is very steep going up the end here, but maybe we can put the houses a bit further back there, so we have enough space to smooth out the terrain for them. Okay, just kind of need to place some more spline points. Then maybe we can put in a gentle curve here. Actually, I kind of liked how that looked to begin with, so like this. Okay, that looks... well, it looks okay. And yeah, this also looks okay if we smooth the terrain to line with the road a bit more. This is, again, very steep. Just lessen the grade up here, which does mean that we'll need to probably push the terrain back a bit. Okay. So now I'll just do this road here, and then we'll start aligning some of the terrain. Actually, no, I'll start doing that now, because that will affect the height of the road up there. Okay. I mean, you can see how steep this is. And if we put in the crossings here, like the junctions, then they can't be on a slope, which means it would need to be straight here and then go down and up here, which means that we might either need to change the roads here or make the crossings manually. So, and by that I mean just making the road come up to the other road, and then maybe putting in a sidewalk and connecting the roads with invisible roads. Kind of just something like this. And I'm just kind of putting the terrain up along the main road that the others feed into, so that I know exactly what height I need to put them at. Oops, I didn't do this bit yet. Sorry. Just like this. Oh, using the wrong tool. I'll save. Just like that. Okay, now I'll remove the gradient on this road, actually, at least down to there, so that it automatically goes up to this height. And now if I add the gradient back again and smooth, it won't drag the other road down. Okay, maybe change this curve a bit to be a bit more smooth, so something like that. That looks good. Now what about this road? Again, I'll delete the gradient here to make the track, the road align to the terrain again. And yes, over here I think we can put in. Well, I think it's straight enough so that we can do it like this straight away without putting in a point in the middle. Okay, now this road, I think that's good as well. Over here, right? So I need to put this back a bit, remove the gradient here and there, And everywhere, no, not again. This is very, 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 very steep. So, yeah. I think this is a bit too steep. So we need to move this back a bit like this, maybe? Sorry. Very, very steep still. How about something like this? I mean, it is still very steep, but it's no longer that completely unreasonably steep. So I am going to save first. And then I'm going to just pull the terrain back here a bit to kind of build this area up a little so that it makes sense for the road to go here. Which means we need to build this area up over here as well a little. Okay. And now I'll just align the terrain over here. Over there as well. Well. Actually, I'll make this come over here into the junction. Like that. So, now, 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, now we need to remove. I need to remove the gradient on this road just to bring it back up to the surface, so it's easier to work with. Okay, putting that in there. It's kind of like this. But we can't align the terrain to this bit just yet because that's coming in at an angle. So yeah, I need to leave that as a white spline point. Same with this one, because it's coming in at an angle, it needs to turn. And I do actually need to make this road have the be aligned to the train, and not aligned to the terrain. Sorry. Again, very, very steep over here. Maybe we can make this come over this side a bit more, just to get a bit more space to come down. Like that. And over here as well. We kind of make it like this maybe. We would need to bring the other road up. Just kind of did this. Let's see. I do need to remove the gradient here for this slope to work. Sorry, for the connection to work. Kind of like that. And also I need to smooth this area out a bit so it doesn't look as built up. And yeah, towns do definitely need quite a lot of work. Especially when you put in all the buildings. But I do have some buildings already selected that I think might work well in this area. Okay. So this is coming down over here. Need to get rid of the gradient over here again. Put in another marker. Something just like that. Well, maybe like this. Okay, and then we just need to make this road connect again. And yeah, doing this on a slope makes it just that extra bit more tricky. But unless I'm yes, I'm missing this road. This one shouldn't take too much effort. Yeah, I mean it's basically already done like this. This one, that is good. Now just this one here. We need to move this. Move this back a bit over there, like this. So, how does this look? Just imagine the scenery around it. Yes, I'm happy with it. We'll see We'll see what it looks like when we put in the actual crossings, the intersections. Intersection, that's the word I was looking for. The intersections. And see if I can get those to work. But yeah, that looks good. Let's see, how much time do we have? We have 4 minutes. I was thinking maybe we could actually run a train up here and see what that looks like. Let's do that quickly. I mean, we might run over like 2 minutes or something like that. Also, what is the sound like? Can you actually hear me? That is the thing I'm asking. Actually, I'm going to quickly put on the other headphone here. Let's see. Can I hear myself here? I'm just talking like this, and the horn. What does it sound like? Test, test. Okay, I think that's good. Because it was actually too loud by a long way. I think either last... Oh no, it was the stream before last stream. Oh, and it is lagging now a bit. And it wasn't lagging before. We might need to... Actually, why is it lagging this much? It shouldn't be. Huh. I think we need to break the speed limit a bit again. Just to make it there in time. Also, yeah, I was going to say something. Oh, right, because we've put in the other signal at Haunt Point, this is now telling us, well, it was telling us, that we can proceed, actually. Because this signal here, the tall one, is for the main track, and the dwarf signal is for the siding. Even though the tall one is on the right side, that's because it's got this little, I think it's called a cantilever, with this little blue light, which just means that there is a track to the right of the main, of the main signal, so that this is actually for the left track. Okay. We've been through this bit before. Let's see how fast this can go. Actually, I will quickly listen again to see if this is too loud, because I realized now that the horn isn't as loud as the motor of the steam engine. So, oops. So I'm going to just test. How's the sound? Does the sound okay? Well, the sound is maybe still a little bit loud, so I might turn it down just a little bit. But for now, the loudness of the sound emphasizes the speed at which the locomotive is going currently. And by the way, this is the maximum speed this train can go at. This locomotive can go in DCC mode, or well, easy mode as it's now called. Might be able to get it a bit quicker in realistic mode. So it's traveling at 78 miles per hour or 126 kilometers an hour. Now just quickly looking over there into the valley, and I will add some more base spots over here to fill in the mountains back there, and the areas where you can kind of see that the mountain ends, so over here and over there. Here are horror point sidings, let them know we're coming. And at the bottom, you can see just how quickly the grade picks up as we're approaching the town. Okay. Also, I want to see how far it is. Oops, need to have my lights on. And here is the red signal. We're approaching the cutting. Just give some horn blasts. Yeah, I do really like how this cutting looks now with all the grass and shrubs and trees. So, now we can look over there, and when it's all painted, you'd already be able to see the town over there. You can also just start to see the beginning of the lake over there. But the angle of the slopes looks good. If we're traveling at this speed, we might need to super elevate this curve. But not 435 miles an hour, which is the base speed. Although, watch out, there are trees. Just quickly close your eyes for a second. Okay, you can open them again. Let's see. Okay, I'll actually start decelerating here, because when we get to the bit with the town, I do actually want this, want to see what it looks like when we're crossing the bridge at a reasonable speed. A reasonable speed basically being the speed limit. Well, I will speed up again until we get to the bridge. Okay, just starting to slow down now. And the brakes are very responsive with this locomotive in DCC mode. Okay, well, the road's coming in here, and then you can just see the valley going along there, and the lake down there, and the bridge down there. Yeah, I'm really liking this area. And then the junction comes together. Oh, right, because we didn't set up the junctions yet. They're aligned the default way, which apparently is sending us over onto the sidings. But we'll give them a different default alignment when we get around to actually replacing the lever objects. Okay, so we're coming in here. We do a few more horn blasts as we're coming onto the siding, giving them the bell as we're going past the station. Look at all those beautiful buildings there. Oh, sorry, I meant the imaginary buildings. Okay, coming across here. Still the view down into the lake. Although I might bring the slope back a bit so that you can see the lake from the cab. Well, you can kind of see it a little, but maybe I'll bring it back a bit. Also at the bottom we can see that the route length is now just a little bit under 7 miles. Or about 11.25 kilometers. And then we're merging back onto the main line. Okay, well, that's, well, I suppose that is as good a place as any to end it. Actually, no. I'll just quickly, one second, I'll just quickly drive the locomotive back to the bridge to get a thumbnail for the archived version of this, which brings me to my point, which is that this will be archived. Which you probably already know. But yeah, I'm just going to repeat it in case somebody new is watching. So this is going to be archived on our YouTube channel. Wouldn't it be funny if the noise of the locomotive was so loud still that it completely drowned out what I was trying to say about this being archived, and you can just see my lips moving and hand gestures, and it's all complete nonsense. Yeah. Okay. Just going to stop the locomotive just about there. And let's see, what should this thumbnail be? I'm thinking probably something like that. Maybe something like this is better. Anyway, that's a good thumbnail in some way. So, 1 second. Just quickly going back to the ready screen, so the online screen. And yes, that's the end of the stream. We've already gone 6 minutes over. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next stream. So, bye.